The ratings collapse for CNN and MSNBC has gone from bad to worse. The legacy media is crying and dying, and now they're preparing for the end. Today, we've got the stats. They've just come in, as well as a new executive brought by MSNBC to try to prepare them for a post-cable future. This level of disaster is unbelievable. Like, I'm not even sure they're going to be around much longer, and we've got reason to wonder that now. We'll explain it in just a minute. Martin Holmes over at TV Insider has this Fox News ratings stunner as MSNBC and CNN flounder. And that brings back nightmares of that CGI fish from the Little Mermaid remake. Ooh, scary. Fox News' domination of cable news is showing no signs of letting up, with the network holding 99 of the top 100 cable news telecasts last week. Folks, we need to stop for a minute. Just everybody stop. Stop whatever you're doing, okay? No, not you. You who are practicing resuscitation. You keep doing that. We like you. Brain surgeon, you keep doing that too. Wiggle that. Yep, their finger moves. Funny, isn't it? Folks, let's read it again. Fox News domination of cable news is showing no signs of letting up, with the network holding. Listen, I'm going to say it again. 99 of the top 100 cable news telecasts last week. Folks, would you like to know what the one in the 100 top
I'm dying to
didn't get? Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Rachel Maddow. She does one show a week now. She just left MSNBC. She now does one show a week on MSNBC. She's the one. Year on Year figures show an even more stunning success story for Fox News. According to Adweek, citing Nielsen ratings for the week of May 12th, Fox News was the only network to see gains in total viewers in the key adults 25 to 54 demo compared to the same period last year. They went up a lot. In comparison, MSNBC was down 29% in total viewers, 40% in the demo in primetime. Remember, the demo is what matters because that's the people who buy things. That's what they run the commercials for. During total day, the network dropped 36% in total viewers and 44% in the key demo. In other words, the demographic that they need to stay on air, they basically lost half of them in 1 year. When we tell you that the legacy media is dying, we mean it. 50%. Can you imagine, folks, if your local Lowe's or Home Depot, some call it Home Depot, if they lost half their customers in a year, they'd fold. They'd put the plywood up on the doors. It might not be long before that happens at MSNBC. Meanwhile, CNN decreased 16% in total viewers, 11% in the demo during prime time, 28% in total viewers, and 29% in the demo during total day. Good Lord, that's terrible. But it somehow manages to get worse. You want to see it? You want to see it, folks?
Let me sing my song, you know.
Let me show you what Friday ratings looks like. This is out of Adweek. It's by Mark Moachiro. The 25 to 54 demographic, that's what matters. Multiply it by 1,000. Here's what we've got, okay? 25 to 54. These are the people who are buying things. By the way, on YouTube, the demo is something like 90% of the viewers. Okay? Here we go. Ready? Look at this down here. On MSNBC, at 4 p.m., they had 68,000 in the demo. At 5 p.m., they had 82,000. At 6 p.m., they had 76,000. 7 p.m., 57,000. 8 p.m., 68,000. Jen Psaki, who has taken over for Rachel Maddow as the face of the station, had 45,000 people in the demo. Jen Psaki is getting absolutely clobbered by mid-sized YouTube channels in the demo. This can't go on. And CNN is hardly any better. 78,000, 109,000, 95,000, 85,000, 83,000, 52,000. Can I just do a comparison? And by the way, Fox News is over there just walloping them. Can I give you a comparison? Think about this, folks. Think about this. What if we looked at the number of people who work for Tim Pool over there at Timcast, okay? He's got his website, timcast.com. He's got his YouTube stuff going on. He's got panels, does a show, yada, 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 right? And I don't know how many people he's got on staff, but it's got to be like 5 or 10% of CNN and MSNBC.
Oh, less.
Oh, yeah. Folks, listen to me. Tim Pool is beating them with every video he ever does. He's like doubling them in the demo. Every single time. His videos are pulling double their demo. This is crazy. And that is why they're preparing for the end. We're going to talk about this in just a minute. This is a big deal. And most people are not putting this together. Before we do, we're going to go to the panel, though. Starting with Kevin. Kevin, walk us through what has the legacy media done to themselves, and can they ever come back from this, or is it over? We'll get to the story here, folks. Hang tight. I'm going to show you why they're preparing for the end. But first, Kevin, what do you think about it?
Wait, what haven't they done to themselves? Just to kind of keep it current, we find out that Biden has a super aggressive form of cancer, and allegedly no one knew about it after spending the last 4 years telling us that he was the most vibrant, that Biden was Kryptonian. And we just know that the guy wasn't all there. So we watched them sign off on a willful mistreatment of a senior citizen. They hid his medical records. They ignored that essentially his campaign was hijacked. They lost the trust of their base, with the exception of the most occultish amongst them. So they lost their base, but most importantly, they lost their youth. These guys can't get the demo because the youth, the ones who understand reality, were taking a look around, and they were not in a better place than they were 4 years ago. They're not in a better place than their parents, and they're not in a better place than their grandparents. And that reality was shocking and alarming, and they decided that they wanted better. The other half of them realized that they were being lied to and rejected it. And to make it even worse yet, when you really kind of drill down and you look at men versus women, young men are rejecting this side of the aisle at a rate that's almost hard to track. It is not cool to want to dwell in the MSNBC CNN space. So you're chasing a very coveted demo that wants nothing to do with you. They've picked a bunch of fights with the Orange Man, and they're getting walloped, and they're having accountability forced on them in a way that they just don't want. The average Joe can see it. We're looking at the CBS News division do everything in its power to essentially tank a multi-billion-dollar deal that will save lots of jobs because they don't like a potential outcome. We are watching The View do everything under the sun. You're watching the media essentially do we hope the economy tanks rain dance every week so that they don't have to report something remotely positive and helpful to the American citizen. So it's no surprise that these channels are failing. They have brought upon themselves an existential crisis that they're not ready to deal with. But they have no choice. The viewers are not there. The interest is not there. The trust is not there.
Well, let me show you this, Kevin. They're going to try to find trust somewhere else because they must. Here's the article. It's out of The Wrap. MSNBC hires CNN Senior Vice President Marcus Mabry to spearhead digital push. The media veteran will oversee the network's growing direct-to-consumer, also known as DTC, subscription and premium businesses, MSNBC President Rebecca Cutler says. Now, there's a lot of word salad there, folks. I'll explain what it means in just a minute, but here's what you've got from Sean Birch. MSNBC grabbed one of the top executives from rival CNN on Tuesday, with the cable network hiring Marcus Mabry to be its new Senior Vice President of Content Strategy. Mabry joins MSNBC as new President Rebecca Cutler looks to bolster the cable channel's digital team, while at the same time helping MSNBC prepare for life after it splits with NBC News later this year. So Comcast has already said this is going to happen. MSNBC gets to keep its name, but it will have absolutely no connection with NBC anymore. They don't want it to have any affiliation with NBC. Cutler, in a memo to staff, said he will be responsible for how MSNBC connects and builds community with non-linear audiences. Lou, what this is about is they are preparing for a post-cable channel future. I'm not saying they're going to get exited off of cable. I'm saying that it can no longer be the main focus. They've got to prepare for a digital strategy. They're going to have to fight and claw and try to get views on the new media. They're going to YouTube. They're going to the other places online. I don't know if they'll try to distribute directly from themselves or what. They won't have the power of Comcast behind them, but they're preparing for not being a major player on cable. I don't see it any other way. You.
Well, and there's a lot more to it than that, in my opinion. First of all, go back to that list that everybody was on of who was getting how much. I think it's kind of sad and amusing at the same time, but that's just because I have a sick sense of humor.
And each one of these numbers represents 1,000. So
right, and so look at the bottom on the right. Something called The Last Word is getting more people to watch than Psaki.
Yep.
Think about that for a minute. She will be the last word if she's gone. But more importantly, if you see these people draining, where do you think they're going? They're not going to Fox, the lefty people who used to watch this stuff. Right. They're just turning the whole damn shebang off because they're sick and tired of it, and because those people have lost so much credibility that they're embarrassed to be on their team by watching. So where they're going, a lot of them are watching 10-year-old reruns of NCIS on Hulu or whatever. A lot of them are watching, Bowling with the Stars, anything else but a news program. So the numbers would make you think, oh, they're shifting to Fox. No, they're not those people. They still hate Fox, but they don't feel like there's any brand affinity or loyalty or anything they owe these people. And a lot of it has to do with what happened with the cover-up of Biden and their total lack of credibility. I mean, if you lose your credibility as a news agency, if I can't believe you about the fitness of a president for office, then I can't believe you about the little girl's dog that gets lost in a tree. I can't believe you about the local sports coverage. Anything. You are totally without foundation. And remember when it used to be that people would go to work the next morning after staying up and watching, let's say, Johnny Carson, and, hey, did you hear what Johnny had on last night? Well, this kind of stuff happens with news shows, too. Did you see whoever, Nicole Wallace, talk about? They won't do that at work because they're afraid everybody will laugh at them and point at them and say, you're still watching that? Pardon my whatever. But the lack of credibility that they have just stood up on a corner and cheered about. Yep. I would recommend everybody read my my Jumping the Shark article on That Park Place about this and about how these people have no sense about. Well, thank you, Kevin, for the applause. These guys, they don't even know what they don't know. They don't even know. And the idea, oh, well, we're going to hire a guy from CNN to bail us out. Oh, really? I see. Because they're doing so well over there, too, aren't they?
Yeah.
These people are burning bridges that they'll never be able to cross again.
Let me put the hurt on them even worse, though, Lou. Because can I steal that from you just for one time? It gets worse.
As often as you like.
Let me show the comparison here, folks. This is Timcast, okay? Now, Tim Pool has multiple YouTube channels, and he's not the biggest in terms of news coverage. Maybe he is. I don't know. I think Megyn Kelly draws bigger audiences, and there are some others out there. But Tim Pool's doing great. Okay? When you're on YouTube, the vast majority of your viewers are in the demo. But not only that, the ads are tailored to the individual. So they're much more efficient in advertising than what you would get on cable. Not just, folks, remember, Saki's getting 40,000 in the demo. The vast majority on YouTube are flat out in the demo. What's Tim Pool doing? 125,000, 131,000, 206,000, 163,000, 78, 180, 149, 81, 118, 129, 137, 132, 131. Hey, I should be an auctioneer. Guess what, folks? That's why the end is near. for MSNBC and CNN. This is why they have to go to digital.
Because the advertisers have their own credibility to worry about.
Yep.
We used to joke in the sitcom business, in the TV business, about, well, a new show has really arrived when suddenly you're getting ads from Coca-Cola and not just from small advertisers. Well, these people are getting ads from nobody when they get some, because they have to discount them so bad, because the real advertisers who want to reach a massive audience say it's not there. I'd rather be maybe with Tim Pool. And also, when you see an ad on YouTube, all praise to YouTube as far as their success, you don't have the immediate political connection to the advertiser versus the content. It's just, that's whatever. It isn't true. But you think, well, that's what YouTube threw in that slot. No. It's very, very, very closely matched to who they think the audience is. But it's about selling butts and seats and eyes and ears watching. And if they don't want to watch, all the King's horses and all the guys from CNN cannot save the show. It's over.
What's amazing too is we forget, these folks failing upward, or I guess laterally. CNN rolled out a very expensive digital platform, and they couldn't find a viewer, a subscriber. If they took a swing at a pinata, it would have been empty. It just, no one had any interest in it. And during a time when, because we were still COVID crazy, so at a time when they probably should have been at the height of their powers. So what is the actual strategy here when you have no credibility, when you can't combat the authenticity of the new media space, and you're just pretty much out and out rejected? We're going to go back to the same bag of tricks that has already failed. It made you a laughing stock.
Wait, go back to what you just had on the screen. I noticed. I always watch the margins. This is Adweek. They're all about telling advertisers how to make money. Look at the one on the bottom on the right. Upcoming webinars. Visualizing sustainability. Building trust through authentic storytelling. Well, if there isn't an opposite to that is the mainstream media, I don't know what is. It's called building distrust through inauthentic storytelling and then crowing about it. It's not, all I'm trying to say is this is not rocket science. Mm-hmm. Tell the truth, be accountable, and people will trust you enough to give you some of their time.
Well, when it comes to CNN, it's even worse than that, because you have a situation where we just reported on it today on that Park Place. Warner Brothers Discovery's credit rating has just been rated as junk by the S&P. And a lot of that, it's not because they're up on streaming right now. They've been hitting on some theatrical releases. It's all cable. It's all their cable networks. And the biggest albatross around their neck is not TNT. It's not TBS. It is CNN. It is literally dragging a 100-year-old company down into the dirt. They are $38 billion in gross debt right now. And a lot of that's CNN's fault.
I think all debt's gross, but I appreciate what you're saying. Hey, Marvin, you have done a phenomenal job with thatparkplace.com. You've been cited by the FCC, tremendous successes with the website, and you're earning the trust of so many out there. We've got Forbes referencing what you're putting out there. Marvin, how do you think MSNBC and CNN are going to perform when they become part of the new media? That is, the truth tellers with a capital T.
Terrible, because MSNBC and CNN, it reminds me of a moment from a TV show where everyone is trying to leave to get away from one character, and the character's like, oh, hold on, I'll grab my coat. And they say, no, you're the guy that we're trying to get away from. That's the thing. Nobody is going to follow MSNBC and CNN onto new media platforms, because everyone went to new media platforms to get away from MSNBC and CNN. Yeah. Once you lose trust in an audience like this as a journalism platform, unless they clean house, and Kevin Apollo and I were talking about this on the phone earlier today, unless they clean house and change the name completely and become an entirely new entity, there is no trust left from the people, especially after all this Biden nonsense.
Vash, you see it any other way?
I don't see it any other way at all. You just had one of your big representatives on that platform in the form of Jake Tapper essentially just upend the media narrative that really was fed to the people for what, 2, 3, 4 years?
Yeah, he was feeding it.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Well, I was just saying he was the one feeding it, and now he wants you to forget about it. But the best part about that, Vash, is he gives a tell-all book that's supposed to be the tell-all for everything. Oh boy, we're gonna get the tell-all. Oh, we're gonna find out what really happened, and he didn't even know about the C word.
I mean,
what does that have to do with? Oh, okay.
Yeah, never mind.
It's you can't debase yourself like this and expect that you're going to be okay. I think Kevin is right. I think Marvin is right. You have, and especially Lou, you've just absolutely destroyed your credibility. And if people can't trust you with the small stuff, they're definitely not going to trust you with the big stuff. And it's like, why should people keep watching? That's the thing. People aren't. The generation that consumed mass media like MSNBC or CNN, I got to be honest, they're falling away. And I don't mean just cutting the cord, but they're literally passing away.
Yep,
Go ahead.
Yep. Well, I was just saying, phasing and fading out, and they've sacrificed these companies have sacrificed their credibility on the altar of politics. Lou,
think about what this is going to mean in the next election cycle. People were saying, well, gee, they're all going to stay floating on this last election because, hey, elections, they sell a lot of advertising. But the left is not going to advertise on Fox because that's not where their audience is. Where have they got to go? If they go to MSNBC and CNN, there's nobody there. I mean, even the people that like them are not there. And so, wow, what do you do with that money when you have it?
Lou will know they're desperate if they start advertising MyPillow.
Honestly, Jake Tapper writing that book has the energy of when O.J. Simpson tried to write the "If I Did It" book. It's a confession book.
Well, yeah, he hired, a crisis media manager guy to try and cover his butt on all this feedback he's been getting. The same guy that was working for Anthony Weiner. Truth. So it's like they even have a shrunken talent pool of failures to draw on to try and bail themselves out. By the way, if you would like to see the ultimate takedown of Tapper, he was actually foolish enough to go on with Megyn Kelly. And wow, did she carve him a new orifice. And it's like... And this was after he hired the Wiener guy who told him, yeah, sure, go on there. You'll be fine.
That's right. Yeah, she wanted to be part. Evan, final word.
I was saying, it looked like the prison. Yeah, that interview looked like the prison camp scene from Scarface. It was not a good look.
That's right. All right, folks, we'll keep an eye on it. MSNBC and CNN, though, they're preparing for the end. That executive hire that we talked about, they're getting ready. They're moving to digital. They know they can't survive. Will it take a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Whatever it is, it's like late night. The phase-out phase has begun.
Oh, yeah. Can't believe I made it. This thing is great. And now I have my own emoji on WDW Pro's channel.
Right? Hey, everyone's been wanting me for ever. But just remember, you're like a pity vote.
Thanks.
By the way, do you want me to turn on the bubbles?
They are on. Aren't they?